Hi, everybody. Welcome to this new session of the Global Vue Meetup, presented to you by this.media. I just want to remind everyone here that our sponsor for this event is this.labs, your partners in modern digital transformation. We specialize in mentorship, consulting, training, and staff augmentation for enterprise organizations. Find out more at this.labs.com or send us an email at hi@this.com. My name is Daniel Marin. I'm going to be your host today. I'm a software engineer in this.labs. So another cool thing that I want to share to each of you is that we have some cool events coming soon. We have GraphQL Madrid on August 21st, and we have a monthly mentoring session, Women in Tech, and that's a really cool event. We know that everyone loves it. We have a session of Global Angular Meetup. Then we have another session of Global React Meetup in September 10th, and then we have a Global Vue Meetup on September 17th. I just want to remind each of you that we have events on Vue, we have events on Angular, we have events on React, we have events on GraphQL. So if there's something cool that you want to learn about each of them, follow us. You can follow us on Twitter at this.media, and we share everything about our podcast, our events, our talks, our trainings, and everything cool that we do. For today, we have two really awesome speakers to you. We have Debbie O'Brien. She's head of learning and developer advocate, Nuxt.js. And we have Maya Shavin. She's a senior front-end developer at Cloudinary. You can see them there. You can actually know which is which easily as they dance while introducing them. Awesome. And we have this really cool schedule for today. I'm going to do this really brief welcoming to you guys. And now I'm going to leave it up to Debbie. She's going to talk about Nuxt.js as a headless CMS. And then we're going to have Maya talking about fast, optimized, and SEO-friendly apps with the Nuxt community. I leave it up to you now. So good luck, Debbie.
Thank you. So, hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm here in the studio, as you can see, with Maya. So yeah, I just got back off the beach. So I literally came running off the beach. That's why my hair is wet. So just in case you had any questions, that's probably it. So basically what I'm going to talk to you about, if my slides change, which they're not doing, hang on a moment. There we go. Nuxt as a headless CMS. Okay, so if you've been watching recently, we launched the content module, and now you can use Nuxt as a headless CMS. So a little bit about me. I'm head of learning, developer advocate at Nuxt.js. I also write for Ultimate courses, and I'm a teacher at Vue School. And then I organize meetups as well in Mallorca, in Spain. Google developer expert, Microsoft most valuable professional, and a cloudinary media developer expert. So if you want to follow me and kind of like listen to everything I have to say about Nuxt, if you like Nuxt, then Debbie O'Brien on LinkedIn and Debs_O'Brien on Twitter. Okay, enough about me. Let's learn about Nuxt as a headless CMS. So the content module has had 57,000 downloads since it was released, and that's about 3 months ago. So that's pretty cool. You have to use it. So the content module is a Git-based headless CMS, right? So
Maybe.
you can kind of go, yeah.
Well, it just fixed. For a second, I just hear you not too well. Maya, did you hear that too?
Yeah, it was broken a bit, like the connection was a bit like maybe the wind come by or something.
Let me close the window. I'll just be sweating.
Yeah, you're sure.
Yeah, that's probably.
I'm going to die of heat right now. Okay, yeah. I'm doing
Sorry
this
to interrupt you. Sorry to interrupt you.
Okay.
No problem at all. Okay, let's go. Let's hope that I don't die of heat. So, content module, a Git-based headless CMS. Right. So, what exactly is a Git-based headless CMS? What are we selling you here? Let me explain it. When we talk about headless, let me first talk about me. I love talking about me. So I do Taekwondo, and I'm a 4th-degree black belt in Taekwondo. This is me at a competition a couple of years ago. And yeah, I love doing Taekwondo, and I'm going to help you understand what a headless CMS is using Taekwondo as an example, because Taekwondo is fun. So basically, yeah, this is what we do when we mean headless, right? That's what you need to do. You need to get the head off. The head sometimes shouldn't be there, right? And yeah, this isn't me, but I kind of just like that photo. But basically, we're trying to remove the head from the body. That's what we're doing with a headless CMS, right? Let me explain it further. You might think, but that girl needs that head on her body. You're right, she probably does. But you know, just taking the head off someone is actually really good fun. So I love doing these kind of kicks. Unfortunately, I don't have a picture of me doing this one, but anyway, I can do it. I could show you right now, only I'll just break the, and knock down the camera. So we want to take the head off. Why do we want to take the head off? So if anyone has ever done Taekwondo before, and this is WTF Taekwondo, you will know that this is what you have to wear when you're sparring, when you're competing. And this is like the body armor that you have to wear, and then you have the headgear. These were not designed as one. They were designed to be used together, but not to be used as one. They were designed so that they could be interchangeable. So for example, when you go to competition, you have the blue on the outside, but maybe on the body armor, you need to turn it inside out to get the red. And then like you want to change your headgear because you can't have the blue body and the red head because that just wouldn't work. So you need to be able to change it. And that's why sometimes having the head separated from the body is really important. So basically, Taekwondo, we've got the body. The body is the content, right? So what we've done in Nuxt is we've put it in a folder, in the content folder. It's separated. I mean, it's still in our code base, but it's not together, mixed in with all the HTML, etc. So the content is the body. On the app, what you're delivering to the public, that's basically the head. It's as simple as that. That's all you need to know when it comes to headless CSS. Headless CMS. I'm already losing it with the heat. Oof. So goodbye, WordPress. Yes, WordPress, goodbye. We don't need WordPress anymore, right? Goodbye, Storyblock. We don't need Storyblock. Storyblock's great, but goodbye, Storyblock. Goodbye, Prismic. I know, Maya, you love Prismic, but goodbye, Prismic. You're gone. We have taken over the world. Goodbye, Strappy. And goodbye, Sanity, and all the other amazing CMSs out there, because we don't need them anymore. Nuxt has given us the perfect solution, a Git-based headless CMS, and we don't need any of these CMSs anymore. So what's next, right? We've got rid of all those CMSs. We've taken over the world. What do we need to do for everyone to start using it? Basically, we need to have Git courses for all the marketing teams. So if you're working in an agency or a big company, you're going to have to get all the marketing team and you're going to have to teach them all Git. All right, so just get those courses ready, get the marketing team and get them learning Git. The management as well, because sometimes they have to make changes to content. So make sure you teach all them Git. So Git courses for all the management. Git courses for my mother as well, because, she also writes blog posts and stuff. So she's going to have to learn Git. So yeah, basically just Git courses for everyone. So we all just need to learn Git. Simple. And it's not that difficult, right? I mean, I was trying to explain this to my mother. I was like, right now, this is all you need to do. This is just config, just start it over. I'm on the phone with her. She's got Windows. I'm like, oh God. And Git init status. I was like, add. And, it is going to be hard, right? They are going to be a little bit, I don't want to learn Git. I want those lovely buttons, but you just tell them, you have to learn Git from now on. This is the way it is. Oh, Maya, yeah, you're right. They're going to have to learn the terminal, right? I forgot about that one. Yeah, the terminal, it's not that difficult, right? I mean, we can all learn the terminal. So, what about merge? Yeah, if there's any problems with the merges, I guess you probably just need a developer there as well, right? So, yeah, there's Git crash courses, right? This is a fantastic course. We're going to have to get everyone to do Git crash courses. They're all going to learn Git, and then they're going to be able to use a Git-based headless CMS. Simple as that. So basically, there's two kinds of people in the world. There's me and there's Maya. No, there's two kinds of people, right? There's this kind of person who likes the lovely buttons. Let's call that person my mother. And, she likes that big, massive button that says save or edit, and she can see it and it makes all sense to her, so she needs all that, right? And then there's the other kind of people like me and Maya who like this, right? We love to see this. It's just code, pure code, we're alive in this. Now then there's the other kind of people who like a bit of both, but let's not talk about them people right now. So let's call one person, my mother, and the other person is the developer. We want to like focus on the developer. So basically the content module is focused for developers. We built it for developers, right? That's who we built it for. We didn't really build it for my mother, but maybe she might use it because we have no login, right? There is no login. There is no user interface. There is no nice save button, right? So what the hell does it have, right? It doesn't have any of that. So my mother's not going to use the content module, okay? That's basically what I'm trying to say. So what do we have? Let's go back to Taekwondo. So there's a question there in the chat. I still don't understand headless. So the head is the app, right? When we talk about the content has no head because it's like decoupled from the head. So basically the front end, the app, and the content is your back end, your database, your content where everything lives. So that's the body. So in Taekwondo, it's the body, and you need that body to be able for the head to work. But everyone's looking at the head, right? They all want to see the visual comes from the head. That's what's shown from that content. So in the content folder, you can write Markdown, you can write JSON, you can write YAML, you can write CSV, and I think you can write someone else as well. So basically, you can write in all of those in the content folder, and that content is then shown beautifully in the head of your project in your app. So basically, if you had, like, say, in the content folder, let's create another folder called articles. We're going to put all our articles in there. So my article is called Amazing Blog Post, because obviously I write amazing blog posts. And yeah, this is what you do. You're writing in Markdown. So writing direct in Markdown in the content folder. Simple as that. Bang, now I have my content, my article written. It's a very small article, but anyway, it's an article. And I can put in the top, I can put what's called YAML. So the very top, basically, I put these 3 lines. This is now, I'm now writing in YAML, and I put a title, and I put a description, and I can put anything else, right? I can add in author, Maya, I can put author ID, I can put her Twitter handler, I can put everything in there, and then I can access this title description or this content that's in the YAML at the top of the Markdown. So basically, how do we access our content? So how do we get it from the body to the head, right? How are we getting it from the body to the head? So basically, this is what we have. This is our setup. We have our app. We have our content folder. In it, we created an articles folder. You could create any folder you like, or just not create a folder, but I created a folder. And then we created our amazing blog post, which we called amazing blog post, and we are writing in Markdown, so it's .md. So we now need to fetch it. That's basically all we need to do. The head needs to fetch the content from the body. Okay, so we're going to use fetch. We're going to fetch that content. Now, sounds complicated, maybe a little, but it's not so bad, right? So this is basically all you've got to write. So we're doing in our script tag in our Vue file. So this is like in the slug page of the blog, export default, and you're basically passing in the content, the params, and you're saying const article, await that content that came from the context, the articles folder, your params.slug, you're fetching it, and you're returning it. Okay, let me slow down a little bit. $content, this is really important. This is what makes all the magic happen. So we need to put that in. We're passing that into the Nuxt context so that we can get it back. We need to use that. And I'm using params here because I'm using dynamic pages. So you only need this if it's a dynamic page. If you're not using dynamic pages, then you don't need to pass in the params. And then we basically have articles. Now, this is what the folder is called inside my content. If you've called it blog posts or posts, then that's the name of that folder. And if you haven't named a folder, then it's just going to go straight into the root of content. So the slug is the file name. My slug is going to be my amazing blog post, or amazing blog post, I called it. So that's where that's going to come from. We're fetching it, and then we're returning article because I called it const article, right? I could have said const post, return post, const page, return page. So that's how they're related. And that's it. That's basically all you need to do. So now to basically show it on the page, I need to use the component of Nuxt content, and I need to like pass in that article. Remember that const article that we just showed? We need to pass that in to the document so that it gets that basically. This is important. Nuxt content is going to make all that magic happen, so we need to use this. This is also important. We need to use document because that's just how it works. So that's what you need to use. But article is the returned object from fetch. So whatever you called it, post, blog, etc., or page, this is what you need to pass in. Simple as that. And then you're going to get, like, this is what you're going to get. You're going to get back the body. Okay, so using the document, you're going to get back the body, what you wrote in your Markdown. So if you had that amazing blog post like I had, and I said writing direct in Markdown, that's what I'm going to get back. I'm not going to get the title and description because that's not in the body. I'm only getting back the body. Okay, pretty cool, right? Hope you're all on board. So now we want to get the title and description. How do we get that? Very simple. We've already fetched the article. We now have access to article using article.title, article.description. So this is the title from the YAML. The description is the description from the YAML. And as you can see in the YAML there at the top, this is what we wrote in, and this is what we'll get back. So this allows us to kind of like use like the content in a very cool way. We're not just shoving Markdown and just putting the whole Markdown into your page. You can actually use all these cool things and create your headings, your paragraphs, and really style out your content, or put them on another page, like the main page, and just have the title and the description, or maybe just the title in a navigation, for example. So you can have access to so many things, which is really, really cool. So basically, you can do so much more, because when I'm saying about the navigation, you can say, I only want the title back. So I want you to go and fetch this content from the articles, but I only want the title because I'm just creating the navigation. So this is all I want, for example. You might want to pass the slug in as well. You might want the description. And you can say sort by title. So you can use only to just get back what you want. So you're not fetching everything. And you can sort it by whatever you want. So that's kind of really, really cool. Okay, so we also have where. So it's using LockyDB under the hood. So you're like basically able to do many things to get the data you want, exactly like you would have done in any database language, right? So here we're using where, and imagine we had in the YAML file an author property, and in that author property we had a name, and then we had like a Twitter handler or something else or an image. So then we're able to say where author name is equal to the params.author. So I could have an author page. So it could be blog/Maya, and then I'd get all the posts that are written by Maya by using the where. So that's kind of cool. So we can separate me and Maya and show only her posts on her page and mine on mine. And we can say without body, because we don't want to show Maya's body. No, I'm only messing. Maya's body's lovely, because what we don't want to do here is we don't want to show the blog posts, right? We want to show like the author name and maybe the title and the description of the post and stuff. So we don't want to return the whole body of that blog post. So we can use without to do that. So that's kind of really cool. Okay, features. So we have previous and next. So the Nuxt content module is giving you a previous and next. So easily you can create previous and next from your blog posts. Really, really easy. So that's done for you. And a table of contents, right? So you can have your table of contents, and you can have like, you know, if you have different headings, so people can scroll down the page and go from one to the other. So again, very cool. Code blocks, because we're developers. We want to put code in our blog posts. We never write a blog post without putting code in there. So we get this for you. And Vue components. You can write Vue components inside your Markdown. Now, I know some people are saying, why on earth would I want to write Vue components inside Markdown? Well, you might do, because you have then access to all those properties in the YAML. So you can create like features and a list of stuff, or you create a quiz, for example, and then, you know, design that as a component and then use it in the Markdown. So it's kind of like, it's very cool. You can do a lot of cool stuff. What else do we have? You can style your content. So we have a class, and you can basically just using that class, and then you can style everything. You can add a search field, so you can very easily search through all your blog posts for the title, and you can choose what to search for. Yeah, you can search for title, for description, for author, etc. Live edit. We have live edit. I love live edit. This is one of my favorite features. I hope this video works. So basically, this is one I created earlier. And as you can see, I'm in Chrome. I'm now clicking. I'm in the, like, obviously run dev. I'm now clicking on the text. I'm editing it. And I just like click away from the text, and that's updated. And I can also update the YAML. So I can just click in the content after running the dev command. I can edit the YAML at the top of the Markdown. And then I just click out of it, and it's saved and it's live there on the page. Now that is cool. So this is like, you know, this is going to save the page. So you can see in your editor that the page is saved. And it's very, very good for when you're reviewing, especially when you see little mistakes, like, you know, minor spelling mistakes, etc. You can very easily just go in there, just edit very quickly, and then just like click away and bang. So this is one of my favorite features of the content module. So snippets. We have some snippets on the documentation of content, so that if you want to easily use this module, then you can create a search very easily. You can go there, take that code snippet, put it in yours, edit it to your needs, and then you have a search. We've already done all the hard work for you. Just take the code, take it, it's all yours. PageNation, all there, just take it. A table of contents, it's all there. So how to use all this, just go and take the snippets and have fun. Dynamic routing, that's there as well. So Nuxt content is a Git-based headless CMS for Nuxt. And there's more. I know, because remember, we're all developers, right? You know, because my mother's not going to use this, unfortunately. So we're all developers. What do we need? We need so much, don't we? As developers, we just want all the time. What do we want? Content. We want content. We want to make content. We want to get that content out there. We want to use content. We have a docs theme. So if you've created a module, Maya created a module very recently, and you know, what was the thing she said? I have to create the documentation. Bluff. It's the part we all hate, right? We all hate to have to create that documentation. We just want to get it from our head, you know, out there as fast as possible. We're going to make your lives easier. So if you have created a plugin, a module, or something that you just want to share with the world, you can use the docs theme. So how do you use that? So Yarn create Nuxt content docs and your project name. That's it. Simple, right? Now, what are you going to get when you do that? So you're going to get a content folder. Nice, right? That's your body. You're going to get a static folder, so you can put your images in there. You're going to get a Tailwind config, so you can change your color scheme and be, you know, not Nuxt colors, be your colors. You can easily add internationalization, so it's set up if you wanted to use different languages. You can sort by category, so you can put like different categories, and you can sort your whole navigation out by how you want to show it, putting things in different categories. Cool, right? Out of the box, just like Apple, when you get that box and you open it up and you go, oh, it's just amazing. Out of the box, you're going to get a table of contents. You're going to get a previous and next. You're going to get a search for your documentation that you're going to create. You can have light and dark mode, because we all love dark mode these days. We all want to switch from light into dark. So that's going to come out of the box for you. You're going to get a link to edit the page on GitHub, right? So that's all set up so that if someone wanted to change it, because like obviously you're going to make mistakes because you're going to deliver that content, you're going to have all these mistakes, and someone's going to help you correct those mistakes, and they can do that easily by pressing the edit button. So that's cool. And obviously you're going to keep releasing and making new content and releasing new stuff, and you're going to be making changes. So you can show the version number, keep people up to date with that, and show all the release notes. Out of the box. You get all that out of the box. Now that's cool. Components, what? Yeah, we've created components for you. So you can get all these components out of the box. And alert components, you can go, warning, this is in demo mode, beta mode, don't use right now. So you can add that very easily. A list, so you can have a list of all your features, just like I have here, this list. You can put that in, so that's really useful. You can have a badge to show like version numbers and other kind of cool things. Code group, because we need to put code in, right? So you need to put that in. Code block. So you can have your code. And code sandbox. Yeah, so if you want to put a code sandbox in, obviously you need to go and make your own code sandbox, right? But then you take that code sandbox link and you put it into the code sandbox, use it in the component, so you put it in the YAML, and now you've got code sandbox very easily integrated into your documentation. So that's very cool. So just to give you an example, in case you think like, you know, it sounds great, but it's going to be very difficult, this is what you get. To use the alert, right? This is basically the code you need to put in. That alert is the component, and you just write whatever you want inside, and then you'll get this beautiful, beautifully styled alert. Amazing. A list. You want to use a list in the YAML, you're going to put items, and you're going to put item 1, item 2, item 3, and then use the list component to basically show those items. And you're going to get that beautifully styled features list to put all your features in there. Very cool. Badge. Very simple. You get this lovely badge. Code group. This is great, so you can like, you know, saves up so much space as well. Everyone, we always have yarn and then npm underneath, or the other way around, and it like takes up so much space. This one, interactive, yarn, npm, click, bang. And even has a copy thing, so you can actually just like copy and like copy the code for you. Brilliant. Code sandbox, this is what I was saying, you write the link. So in the YAML at the top, you just put the link in there, and you put that link to the code sandbox, and then you use the code sandbox component with the source equal to link. Bang, now you have code sandbox in your documentation. As simple as that. Amazing. This is what it looks like. This is the Nuxt Tailwind example. So as you can see, this is what you get out of the box. You get the logo. You have to put your own logo. I'm sorry. That's a little bit of work you have to do, but it's not too much. You get the search bar at the top. That's already there, done for you. You get the version number. You just have to add it in the settings. You get the link to Twitter and to GitHub. You can see on the right-hand side, that's the table of contents. So on this page, I have 2 headings, a features and a video, and you can click the video and it will scroll straight to that video. So that's really cool. And you can see what's on the page. And on the left-hand side, you've got the categories. So you got the introduction, the category of guide, and you can like choose category position to make setup before Tailwind config, for example. Your examples, the community, that's another category, and the releases page that I talked about. And that's all like there for you. That's cool. And that's his dark mode, right? So just by clicking the icon at the bottom, you've got dark mode already. And yeah, you can see the previous and next buttons there going from introduction to Tailwind config. And this is what you're getting out of the box. So if you've got like any of these plugins and modules, I know, isn't it amazing? Like we've created this for developers. We've created this for you. So just go out there and start using it and let's help people save time doing documentation so we can create more cool plugins and modules like what Maya created recently for Cloudinary and Nuxt. So that was very cool. So where do you start? Basically, yarn create Nuxt content docs, your project name. That's it. Just go and try it. Give it a try, play around with it, test it out, and have fun. If you don't know where to go, the documentation is content.nuxt.js.org. All the documentation is there, and that will explain it even further for you. Don't wait. So you can see the one in blue. She's like, wait. I don't want to, I'm not ready. Wait. Be like the one in red. I'm in red. Go for it. Just go. Get your content out there and start using it today. Stop waiting for things to happen. Go out and make them happen. Welcome to content. Welcome to Nuxt. Thank you very much. And I've written a blog post as well on creating a blog with Nuxt content. So if you wanted to do that, you could also like check out the content module on that. And if you do have any questions, I am more than happy to answer them. And thank you all. And I want to see I can't wait to see all the cool things you're going to create with the content module.
Thank you, Debbie. Well, we got Natalia answering questions for you. So you got like your backup. She's
Thanks, Natalia.
Yeah, she's like supporting you. Like she's answering every question as they go.
Yeah, because she just changed recently and started taking Scullion. So she's gone the whole Jamstack. So that's great. I saw that the other day. I was like, yay, we got Natalia into the Jamstack.
Yeah, Natalia is like, I met her in an Angular event. Then I saw her in this same event about Vue. Yeah, she's really amazing. So, well, Maya, it's up to you. So if you want to, you can share the screen and I put you on the stream.
Okay. Okay, so now I'm on. 1 second. Let me share my screen. Here you go. I'm on. I guess so. Debbie, you disappeared.
She was going to be there. I guess she's going for something and she'll be back in a minute.
Yeah, she probably go get herself a cup of wine. She did a great job. So
there she is. There she has it.
Oh, I was right. Yeah. Okay, so are we ready? Well, Debbie did an amazing job as always. So I feel a little bit nervous to take it after her. Luckily, I'm not talking about Nuxt content. I'm not talking about new Nuxt. I'm not talking about anything related to Nuxt content or headless CMS. So I'm good. I guess so. Okay, so I'm going to talk about fast and optimized SEO friendly with Nuxt modules, which are another amazing things about Nuxt. Let's start. But before that, let's talk about what happened with my screen. Oh, I changed the transition. Sorry. So let's talk a bit about myself. So I'm Maya, and I'm senior front-end developer from Cloudinary. Well, if you haven't known what is Cloudinary, go check it out. It's amazing. And I'm a co-maintainer of Storefront UI, the UI framework for e-commerce for Vue developer. And I'm also a Vue.js Israel organizer. It's a Vue community in Israel. And I'm also recently become an ambassador of Nuxt.js, which is amazing. And I'm also a blogger. And finally, I'm not a taekwondo, like taekwondo. I don't know how to pronounce it, but okay. So I'm not a taekwondo expert like Debbie, but indeed, I'm also acrobat yoga. Practice, not an expert still. But yeah, this is me doing acrobat yoga about 4 years ago. I don't think I can do it now anyway. Okay, so let's talk about performance in Lighthouse. So you may know that you already know that in Lighthouse, we only have these cute little 4 boxes telling you how good you're doing with your performance, your accessibility, your best practice, and SEO. The best scenario, you have 100 in everything. Of course, there's other things where difference between the different tools, and also there's more things to consider in practice. But in general, Lighthouse score is good enough to start. So let's talk about performance. So the performance audit, what does it mean? Does it mean that being fast is enough for being performant? Well, in fact, in Lighthouse, performance audit mean a lot of things. They have about 6 different categories here. And to pay attention that we have about 4 of them, the Nuxt engine, the Nuxt algorithm already take care for you during the build time and bundle time. So as long as you write your code very careful and make sure your code is optimized and there's nothing unused, Nuxt will take care of bundling it to make sure that it will be minimized and delivered to the client side at as good as it is. But in addition to this, pay attention that we have something called largest content footprint or first content footprint here, which take a lot of weight, about 25%, 20%, 15% out of the whole score, which means that's very important. It means what it says that it's marked the time in which the largest text or image is painted. So this is important because this is how much time until the user can see your first text or your first image. So inside it take into consideration how big to download your file, how long it takes to run in JavaScript, and also how big is your image in order to paint it in the browser. Take a little bit deeply. We have about 24 other tests inside the performance section. As some of them listed here, this is actually the real audit for my website. And some of them, for example, you can see here, about 50% is already about image and video and media handling, like what is the size, whether it's proper compared to the container of the page, whether it's the lazy loading, whether it's encoded, whether it's the correct format. All of these count as performance. And in addition, you have CSS minification, how small your CSS is, because CSS take a long time also. And also whether there's any unused, because if there's unused CSS, it's going to cost your website a lot of points. And also minify JavaScript, but this is already taken care of by the Nuxt engine. So we can go on with it. But the other things Nuxt cannot do it for you. So we have to use the help of Nuxt modules in addition. So the first thing I want to talk about is media optimization with, of course, Nuxt cloudinary module, which I just wrote recently. So how to use it? Actually, Nuxt cloudinary module, what it is? So it's the wrapper for cloudinary module, which allow you to do on-the-fly resize image and video, optimize image from any routes that is non-cloudinary related, which means you can also have some image that was hosted in a different database on different platform, and you can use cloudinary to actually fetch it and optimize it on the fly. Also deliver optimized format per browser. For example, Chrome using WebP, other Safari using JPEG, for example. Or you can do reactive transformation on video and images. And when I talk about reactive transformation, mean that for one picture of the cat here, very beautiful cat, a super high resolution, you can actually translate into different size according to what you need, or different size or different style, like a round avatar, small avatar, square avatar, or even add some filter on it. So how do we use it? Well, of course, first we need to install the package, and then we just add it into the module section of Nuxt config file, and then we set up the cloudinary key field in the Nuxt config file with your cloud name that you got from cloudinary, and the the module will actually inject the instant cloudinary $cloudinary to the application, so you can always access this $cloudinary in order to do transformation and generate whatever you need to do to optimize your image. And how that works? Well, first of all, in the file, in the component that you want to use cloudinary, like here, we just need to use this $cloudinary .url and pass the path to the asset that you have. If it's in cloudinary, then you only need to pass the path to the image that was stored in cloudinary. If not, then you have to pass the whole URL from the different site. And then you can also pass the quality to let cloudinary decide what is the quality, the auto, any quality depends on the browser, depend on the device, and the format depend on the browser. And in addition, some transformation, like here we have a width and a height, a radial max, and a little bit of crop to make sure they crop in the middle. And then on the templates, all you need to do is pass this computed variable avatar into the source of a component, an element image, and voila, here we go. This is the image after transform, after using cloudinary to optimize it. And in the element inspection, you can see the image, the URL was generated with all the standard according to cloudinary. Okay, or you can also do a little bit nicer, which I'm sure you will like it, that you're using the Vue component that cloudinary provide to you in this module, and pass responsive attribute responsive, and enjoy it become responsive according to the device. You don't have to calculate what is the size you need, what is the device you need to support, what is the viewport, all done on real time, on runtime, and it's automatically. Cool, right? That's the module. Go ahead and check it out. The next thing we want to say, because we saw in the performance audit that we talk about styling CSS, so the next thing I want to talk about is how to do optimization using styling with Nuxt Tailwind, which maybe already talked about how they use Nuxt Tailwinds in the Nuxt content. So similarly, in Nuxt Tailwind, we're using the Nuxt Tailwind module with zero configuration for Tailwind CSS. Get rid of all the overhead of how to set up, how to install Tailwind, how to configure Tailwind to work. It's all done automatically. And you can also minimize CSS, which means all the CSS already optimized, which using per CSS in the background to remove all the unused CSS. This is super cool, because then you don't have to worry about whether I missed out one class selector, one set of rules and not using, and it affect my performance score. And it's, of course, it's because Tailwind CSS is the utility framework. You can actually extend it and customize it according to your need. Like the way we saw that in Nuxt content, you can extend and customize themes with it. And you can also integrate with other Nuxt module. We will see a little bit later with a color mode module in order to create dark and light mode. So how do we use it? Again, very straightforward. Build module, Tailwind CSS, add to build module, and then you can configure also Tailwind CSS configuration options in the Tailwind CSS keyword of Nuxt config. And in addition, you can also override or customize whatever you need for the CSS styling in Tailwind config.js using theme variant plugin and also burst CSS burst here to make sure that they know what file to look for in order to optimize it. If you create Nuxt project from start and choose Tailwind CSS to be included, all this include on the start, so you don't have to worry, it generates automatically. But if you include it in the middle, then you have to do it. Okay. So how do it works actually? How the selector work? So the syntax is prefix for any CSS property, and then the key, and then the modifier. For example, here you saw the background, the keyword, the prefix is PGE for background, text for font, and border for border. So we can have like background green, text green, or border green. On we have is this using this class selector, plug in, and it will just work, just show according to what you want to have. Okay, next, dark mode support. We all want to have dark mode and light mode support. By right, you can also get it with just Tailwind CSS. But yeah, why do we have to make ourselves work too hard for it? We can just use Nuxt color mode and now Tailwind together with the least minimum things needed to be done in order to make it work. For Nuxt.js color mode is the module that allows you to know what exactly the system reference, how to customize, how to switch between dark mode and light mode, and how to make sure that your application react according to the system mode at the moment. And to set it up, simple. Set it up straightforward. Also push color mode in build module. And you can also set the external configuration with color mode keyword. Most of the time you don't have to, unless you have some reference, like fallback of reference, the default value that to use for the color mode. Other than that, you don't even need to override it. You just need to plug in, to put it in the build module, and it will work. How to use it in the application? Well, once you plug it in, the module will already show you that it will provide you the class selector called color mode, which means dark mode, light mode, and also an instant color mode, which is an instant injected to the whole app, including there's some information about what user choosing at the moment, what is the system reference, and you can make the change accordingly. And with that, you can use CSS variable to create your own dark mode and light mode according to this standard. For example, you can set up a default palette in the root, and then you can make it into plug in the variable, assign it to the correct CSS properties, and then define the set of variables value for these CSS variable in the dark mode, or in sepia mode, or in light mode. And it will just work. Or simpler, you can make it with Tailwind CSS, like we saw with Tailwind CSS dark mode. So what we need to do is, of course, include the Tailwind CSS module in Vue module, and then define the dark selector according to the selector we get from the color mode, so that Tailwind will know when to change what class in order for them to change accordingly. And then you also need to declare the variant from the Tailwind CSS dark mode, which is the dark hover, dark focus on the variant for dark mode. And finally, you add the plugin requires Tailwind CSS dark mode in order for Tailwind to know that you are using the plugin with the dark variants. And then you're using the button. Now you can use a button with the syntax, the dark dot, and whatever class selector you need to use for dark mode. For example, here in the button, I have border white using for dark mode. So this button will have a white border when the application in dark mode. Otherwise, it will fall back to border black. That's it. Simple as that, right? Okay, so next is SEO optimization. So with Nuxt, it doesn't come naturally. Of course, we need more of some application doesn't come naturally. You also need to ask or write yourself. So we can use some of the module to optimize SEO experience by Nuxt I18N, Nuxt Fit, and Nuxt Robot, and Nuxt Sitemap. So when I talk about SEO, we talk about something like sitemap, meta tags, title, description. By the way, this screenshot, I took it from a very nice article about SEO and social media sharing in a Nuxt blog. We started blog, I think. You are welcome to check it out. But anyway, like Debbie said, we don't need started blog anymore. We have content already. And in any case, so we have sitemap. So sitemap is something that we need to generate. This is something that the Google robot crawler will go and fetch it and crawl over it, and then populate it whenever someone search for your application or your website, and it will display here. If not, it will just display the meta tag, title, and description, which you can always write it in the head section of Nuxt config. So how do we do it? We install the package, we put the Nuxt.js sitemap inside the module, and then we configure it according to the sitemap keyword. If for any dynamic routes, you need to define it inside the route properties, which here I'm using Nuxt content. So I defined it on the blog post. I fetch from the contents, and then I'll just map it and return the route so that the sitemap will already know what are the dynamic routes exist in my application. And that's all of it needs to generate the sitemap. You don't have to work so hard for it. The next thing is Nuxt.js feed for RSS feed. It's important because not all the time people want to look at for your version. Sometimes some people still want to look for the shorter version. So we still need to provide RSS feed in order to make these things easier. So what you do, you just plug in Nuxt.js feed, and then you can also configure the feed with dynamic routes, dynamic flows, and create a different feed according to different tag or category of your blog post. Here it's very long, but if you read it, it's just very simple. You have the feed, you fetch the content, you create the feed, and then you create each of the content inside the feed according title, ID, link, description, and the body. And also have the cache file. Everything here you can also choose not to do anything, and it will use the default one, or you can modify it. It's all up to you, but it's there and it's simple, and you only need to do modify the Nuxt config to make it work. And already you have the RSS feed. The next one is Nuxt.js robots. Well, robots file is a very simple file, which none of us know how to deal with it. Where to write it, where to put it, but sometimes you have to go and change it, and it still doesn't work. Anyway, you can write it yourself, or you can just use Nuxt.js robot module, put in, and config in the robot section, or don't need to do anything. If you have some page or some route, you don't want the robot to crawl into it, then you can put in the module option, or else it will generate generic file with user agent star and allow everything. And simple as that. Now you have a robots file, which you don't even need to create any file. It's created on the build time before deploy to production. So you can be happy with it. Okay, the next one is Nuxt I11N. It's for internalization. Wow, I actually can pronounce this long word so good. Anyway, so this one is for make sure that you have different language version of your application, because not everyone actually know how to read in English or like to read in English, or just want to read in their own native language. So sometimes you need to create a page with different language, and it's very hard because then you have to have some of the case, you need to have a separate file, writing everything and try to plug in, try to detect whether user choose this language or not. But with Nuxt I18N, you can actually use it out of the box by plugging Nuxt 18N into the module, and then set it what you want in I18N section in Nuxt config, and it actually, you can also define what is the local, what is the default locale, or what is the language you support, and also it's actually the wrapper for Vue I18N, so you can also define most information inside according to Vue 18N standards. Okay, Cool. And that's what you had to do in order to get your SEO here. The next one, also the last one we talk about is PWA module, Progressive Web App. It's important because it allows to register service worker for offline caching automatically. You don't have to crack your head thinking how to write the service worker file, how to register this, how to do that. It's all done automatically out of the box for you. Of course, if you want to learn about it, I recommend you to try to write yourself, but not just use the module, because it also generate manifest or JSON file for you based on your configuration. You don't have to create a file yourself and try to think where to put it, which folder to put it in order for the build to know how to get it and deploy. And you also have SEO-friendly metadata tag automatically added. And finally, you have push notification with one signal. This is cool because then you can also have on kind of push notification to annoy user if you want to. Well, I recommend not to, but whatever, up to you. And how to use it. As always, straightforward. Go install the package Nuxt.js PWA, and then configure it according to what you need, like icon, whatever icons you want to have according to the device standard, according to BWA standard. Meta is on the metadata, additional information for the head metadata tag, like title, description, manifest, whatever you want to override on the automatically generated metadata files from the config, or workbox, whatever you want to use in the workbox. And that's it. Nothing else. You will get all this. You will also get a manifest or JSON file generated, and you can see it is straightforward. No more extra work needed to be done. Nothing else. Some other extra module in case you don't want to use Nuxt content, because, for example, like Debbie say, not everyone is Debbie and Maya, and most of the people are like Debbie's mother, which like to use other headless CMS, other CMS that have the real UI, real simple form with a very big button to click save and publish. So we have module for it. Nuxt also offers some module like Nuxt Premix, Strappy, Sanity, and authorization without zero, and or Facebook authorization, or Google authentication. Okay, authentication or authorization. I don't get it. And finally, let's talk about the Nuxt community. All of this module is located in GitHub, Nuxt community GitHub, and it's always actively maintained. And anyway, always the Nuxt community is considered a lot of maintainers that always actively go and create new module to help the developer have a better experience. And it's always welcome to have more developers coming in and try to make the community bigger and stronger, and basically make our life as developer easier. So, summary, whatever we have been through up until now. Using Nuxt Cloudinary for media optimization, you must do. Tailwinds for CSS styling, obviously, no other thing. I cannot go back to use it to write normal CSS because I hate repeating paid in 10 pixels every single time. And Nuxt color mode for dark light mode. You can choose to use Tailwind and color mode together, or you can just use one of them for dark light mode, but if you already use Tailwind, why not? Robot feed sitemap for SEO. Why not? It's so simple. It's so easy to set up. It's so straightforward to use. Just go ahead and use it. You will enjoy SEO without even need to crack your head about it. I18N for internalization, and finally Nuxt PWA for PWA support and more optimization for SEO. And thank you for coming to my talk. I hope you enjoy it.
Thank you, Maya. And thank you, Debbie, also for being there, supporting Maya all the way, cheering her. That was awesome. So
I'm gonna comment on a couple of things. So Maya, amazing talk as always. For those that don't know, the PWA just got a new release. So that's now in version 3. It used to be version 3 beta, and that's just released there the other day. So if you have been using that, check that out, because we've updated to use the next package is, what is it, the worker 5 or something, I can't remember, worker box 5. So that's all integrated. So yeah, so if you have been using it before, like, check it out, and the documentation's been updated as well.
Yeah, you should definitely.
So yeah, check that out.
Debbie worked really hard for that. So
yeah, and the same with the resources. So what Maya said is correct. You can go to GitHub and community, but we are actually working for the website to make it easier to find things. So we're working on the resources section, and that will be out I'm on my holidays at the moment. That's why I'm drinking wine. So when I get back to work and I, put the time in, maybe towards the end of the month, we'll be able to release that, and you'll have, like, in the actual Nuxt website, you'll be able to see all those resources easier. So we're working on that as well.
I have one question here. Sorry. So someone asked me, why do you require the locate and JSON file? Well, because I have my JSON file, where it contains all the definition of all the message, on the like headings, title, all the content inside this file. So instead of writing the whole object directly in the config file, I just separate it in the different files and require it, because anyway, we cannot do import it in. I think we cannot do import it in Nuxt.js config. So Nuxt config. So yeah, so that's why you don't have to. You just need to.
Also, the way you're doing it, and what you're doing, and what Nuxt gives to you that the Vue one doesn't, because I wrote the course for Vue internationalization, and it's hard work in Vue to get them code splitted so that you're only loading the language that you want, and Nuxt is doing that for you. So by loading those files, you can then, you'll only load English if you're on the English side, but if you're on the Spanish version language or the French language, you'll only load the French language. So you're getting that as well. The plugin's doing that for you. So basically, or the module. So that's basically another reason to use it.
Yeah, that's nice to have some Nuxt person here, because it saves me a lot of time answering questions.
Yeah, I know, because I went through the whole course, and I was writing the course, and I was like, wow, it is such hard work to get the code splitted languages. And, you don't want all those languages. You don't want to be loading Spanish if you're never, ever going to go to the Spanish site. Why do we need to download all that?
Right.
And Nuxt does it for you. It's just like magic. And like with the PWA, like, this is just an amazing module. It takes what Maya said, it takes 3 seconds to just use it. We should all use it. You have offline support, much better offline support, especially with static sites. And there's a question there, right? Someone's got a question on pre-rendering with Nuxt instead of server-side rendering, right? So server-side rendering, you need a server. So you got to pay somebody to put your code on this machine, basically, right? Now, server-side rendering is good, and there's a place for it, and you do need it for if you're going to do a big, massive e-commerce site where everything is basically getting updated, etc. so much, then yeah, server-side rendering is brilliant, and you need it. You're going to be paying for that server. You're going to be hitting that server every time, and that's what you're going to be using. If that's what you want and need, perfect. Nuxt gives you that. But we also have static sites. And because we have the content module, if you're using the content module and you have your content in there, Nuxt is very, very clever. And now it's even cleverer. So basically, it doesn't have to rebuild your whole site. It's only going to rebuild the content. It's not going to go through Webpack. It's not going to rebuild all those assets. It's just going to build the markdown files. It's just going to build the content. So that's already been put in the last update of Nuxt. It works amazing, and it's super fast. So you can create your static sites. What's the difference? The pre-rendering or the static sites. So the static sites, you don't need a server. You can host it on Netlify, on Versa, on all these places that are letting you host for free. And I just don't want to pay ever for anything ever again in my life. I just love free. Free is cool. So you can host it for free, which is great. Even Azure have just launched Azure Static Web Apps. You can host for free on Azure. That's just brilliant. Microsoft.
Debbie, the business will cry if they hear you saying like that.
So you can host for free. That's really important. But you do have to generate your site every time you change your content. But and instead of hitting the server on every page call, you have everything, all your content is stored in a static folder, and you're hitting that instead of hitting a server. So you don't have to expose your API, etc. So there's a lot of different benefits. Again, that's something that we're going to work on a lot in Nuxt, and we're going to have better explanations on our website of the differences between them, because a lot of people ask that, and it's a great question. So we'll be working harder to kind of make sure that that's clearer. And yeah, then someone said, do you plan to release more themes? It looks a bit hard to build. So the documentation with the content module is really easy because you get everything exactly like that, and you can change the Tailwind config. Maya, was it easy to use?
Yeah, it was really easy to use. Well, because in the beginning, a little bit of hiccup because I was looking at the old website of the documentation. So I was like, where do I change the theme? But it is really easy to use. It's like take me about 1 second to actually generate the theme from a color and then copy all the generate theme to Tailwind config. And that's it. You have the theme ready for you to use.
Exactly. And if you want, like, maybe you don't want the categories on the left and you want something completely different, right? Then it's open source. So create that amazing theme and, like, you know, submit it, and we'll include it. So everything's open source. So basically, like, feel free to create more themes and help us. Even, you know, if you've created something cool, share it with the world, you know, share it. So yeah, we're not going to create more themes because we've put the Tailwind config in there, which is going to make your life easier. So you can just easily, you know, change everything, the colors, etc. And that's basically what we've included. So I think for now, we're not going to create themes, but we're welcome to accept themes from people and show them.
I actually have a question for you, Debbie.
Oh, no.
I haven't tried. No, it's the easy question. I haven't tried yet, but
I've had a glass of wine already, so make sure it's...
What about the... Okay, ready. It will be easy. What about language that from left to right? Right to left? Right to left. Okay, right to left. So language that from right to left. So normally that means that on the category will have to be on the right side, and on the text will be from the left side. Exactly the opposite. So how are we going to do it with that?
Good question. I have no idea. I worked with it a couple of years ago and had to add that in, and it was some package I added in and just did it all for me. And it was like perfect. I didn't have to worry about it. Changed everything, but it changed some things wrong as well. So then my like slider was going the wrong way, you know, because it changes everything. But I don't know if we have a package for that actually. And I've never worked with it with a Nuxt project. I've only worked with it outside of Nuxt. But if anyone knows anything about it, or that we should check it out, because I don't know, to be honest.
I can check it out.
I don't write the other way around, so I never think about it. But
I need to write in Hebrew, so yeah. I need to write from left to right, so right to left.
Yeah, so it is very important. So there could be already a module out there because we have a lot of modules, and I don't know them all, to be honest. That's why I'm building the whole resources page, because we have so much stuff, and like we don't know what we have, and I'm like, I need to, like, you know, share with the world. And I'm learning so much as I'm creating. I'm like, wow, we have a module for this. I didn't know we had a module for this. So yeah.
Yeah, I also have to read through the 4 pages of the GitHub page, Nuxt community in order to know all the modules existed.
Yeah, I found one the other day. I was building one, and then Puya said, "Oh, we've already had that one. Someone built it 2 years ago, and you can use it." And I was like, "Okay, I never knew about this." And then I was able to use it in the cool thing that we're going to like release soon that I've been building. So so yeah, we have so much that even we don't know what we have, because it's the community that's building it, and we're very lucky because we have an amazing community who have just been contributing to Nuxt and building. Like they're so clever. They're cleverer than me. They build all these cool things, and that's why we want to showcase all these cool things in the website and be able to like access them easier so that more people can use them. Because I think I think we have such cool stuff and it's just like hidden, you know. So yeah.
Wait, so we have another question. I'm not sure this one for me or for you. Right, Daniel?
Yeah, I'm not sure either. So if any of you can answer it.
What?
I actually don't really understand the question so much.
I don't understand it. User agent. I think that's something to do with
Responsiveness, I suppose.
Responsiveness. Location? What that mean?
I don't know.
Not sure I understand, to be honest, either. I'm guessing it's to do with user agents, so to do with your talk, SEO.
If you can elaborate it more in the comments, would be great for us, right? But
Google Translate API. Oh, that would be cool. We love that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be cool. But
That would be cool.
I'm actually afraid. I'm actually afraid of using third-party script. I'm using the Google Analytics, and every time I add it in, I have to run the whole auditing
Kills
about
your
it because
performance,
it's so
though.
huge.
Yeah,
It's
it kills your
huge.
performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, Google Translate is great. It's actually one of the best APIs out there for translating. And we tested quite a lot of them for translating in general, and even like the human translator compared to like the Google Translator. Google's very, very, very good. So
Yeah,
there's more
very.
things that come with translations, but at the moment I don't know if we have anything on that. Would be good though, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Translate this page directly, bomb. Do you have a list of recommended modules? That's exactly what I'm working on right now. Not right now because I'm drinking wine right now. But for Monday.
Very soon.
Monday. Sorry, I'm on my holidays. I came back just for tonight for this talk. But Monday I'm back in the office. My office being this room, and and basically I'm working on a list of recommended modules, and I'll be basically putting it out there. And they'll all have this new content teams documentation. So while we're creating this, we're also improving that experience as well. So yeah, bear with us. It does take time because there's a lot of work to do. So in a couple of weeks' time.
While waiting for Debbie's work, you can always go back to my slide and take whatever on my slide. That's the recommended modules.
Yes. What about different devices, mobile and TV and laptops? Since we're in a world of, I know it's like we can now create it. Like my watch, I do everything on my watch. I pay on my watch. I'm an Apple fan, so like yeah. And wouldn't it be great to like But I don't know. I don't work with TV and other devices and stuff. But like, I mean, I know you can create a PWA for your mobile. You can submit that, and then you can have like a mobile app created through the PWA module. So if you wanted to play around with that, that would be pretty cool.
VCA, like virtual.
Isn't this like this thing, right? No?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
What are we going to do with that?
This is cool. I can't wait to play around with that. I mean, future, so much to do.
I have it at home. I have it very like about 2 years ago. I rarely use it. I like, what are you going to use it except for watching the demo of 3D thing?
Is it possible to write a plugin for the content?
It's a Vue Composition API, not the VCA thing.
Oh, right. Composition API. There's enough module. There's enough module for that. So yeah, you can start playing around with that. But it's obviously until it's properly released. And I was on holiday, so I haven't looked at Twitter for like 3 days. I don't know what's happened.
I was about to write a blog about it.
Yeah. So yeah, the Nuxt module for Composition API, you can start playing with that, but until Vue is properly released, and then Nuxt 3, etc., then it will all kind of come together, right? Is it possible to write a plugin for the content plugin? Bart, I have absolutely no idea what you mean, as in like the content module. Can you write a plugin to what do you want to do with that?
Do we have a plugin for content? I don't think we have.
Like it's content modules. Yeah, the module. What plugin do you want?
Module.
Like, yeah, but what do you want to do?
I think you can write a plugin, like a module for working together with the content module, maybe. That's what he meant.
I have no idea, but Bart, go ahead and write it, and I'll check it out.
Please write it. You have 5 minutes.
User agent. Okay, so like, yeah, user agent, mobile, user agent. Okay, I get you.
Categorizing what exactly
like putting in like in your user agent for your SEO that like the user agent is this for your
that one is up to Nuxt already.
Right? We are using Nuxt.js plus TypeScript plus VCA plugin. It's great. Waiting for all the new features in Vue 3 and Nuxt 3. I know, can't wait. So much coming out. Like just like next month's going to be a massive month. September is everything's fireworks. Everything's going to explode in September. I want to build a plugin that would modify the markdown. Go ahead, Bart. You build it. Build it. Extend the markdown transform. Do whatever you want. Build it. Create it.
Submit a PR. Say submit a PR. Submit a plugin.
Yeah. Go for it. As I said, content is open source, so the code is there. Play around with it. Submit everything. Yeah.
By the way, the content is the image in the content is optimized.
because you hadn't built the cloudinary module until after we released. So we should actually we could include that, but then you're including the module, you know, and maybe not everyone has a cloudinary account, so that's why we couldn't include it. So that's why we didn't. But yes, we haven't used it on Nuxt, and we are using cloudinary on Nuxt, of course. So I'm going to have to start using your module and putting it in there into our content as well. And yeah, I'm on my holidays right now. So, you know, like,
developer don't have holiday. Come on.
Yes, we do. We don't go anywhere because we're not allowed to leave the country, but we can drink wine.
Yeah.
Well, thank you both for answering so many questions and being here and encouraging people to write their own components. I mean, it's like really exciting to see how open are you as a community and how easy it is to join. I want to encourage everyone that, well, if you were here and you want something custom, you want to change something in Nuxt, just go ahead and do it. Share your work. Go ahead. No one is going to judge you. So thank you for being here. At least you're here. You're trying to learn more. So that's a very good step. And I just want to remind everyone that we're also doing React, Angular, GraphQL, and many more events. And even if they don't have such a nice community like this one, but you still have to do them. We do those meetups too. We have some other events, and you can follow us on Twitter, this.media, and find out more about it. And we'll see you in the next session. Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye. Thank